Welcome to the Eugene Yacht Club and to this quick guide on using EYC powerboats. EYC powerboats are used for club racing, for safety and rescue, and for education purposes. During sailboat racing, powerboats are often used to support the racing. There's a race committee boat and there's a rescue boat which sets up marks and helps any boats or sailors who may be in need of assistance. During sail school, EYC powerboats are essential in supporting on-the-water instruction. And EYC powerboats are occasionally called upon to provide rescue for a boater in need of help if local authorities are unable to respond quickly. EYC powerboats can be used by any member of the club or a Joint Race Committee registered racer who has met the following requirements. First, they have an Oregon Boaters Education Card. Oregon Boaters Cards can be obtained through online classes offered through the Oregon State Marine Board website. Second, they need to have attended a powerboat and safety orientation class, which is offered by EYC, usually in the spring. This video is not a substitute for the in the classroom and on-the-water training that is offered each spring. Rather, it's designed to be a refresher on the basics of EYC powerboat operation and use. Safety is always first. People matter before boats. Keep yourself safe. Do not put yourself at risk. No alcohol is allowed on club-owned boats, whether in a container or in your system. At least 2 people must be aboard for rescue. 1 needs to be capable of pulling a person out of the water, and 1 needs to be certified to drive the boat. More than 2 people may not leave adequate room for the rescued person in the boat. Always have your boater's card with you anytime you're on an EYC powerboat. You need to bring your boater's card, of course. You also need a well-fitting life jacket and a whistle. Bring appropriate weather gear. For example, if the weather looks nasty, bring your fowlies. Bring the same kind of things you'd normally bring sailing: water, sunscreen, sunglasses, and a hat. Please bring a cell phone, preferably with the sheriff's number already programmed into it. EYC has 4 powerboats. The first is the committee boat, or some call it the sled, which is usually used for race committee but can function as a rescue boat if needed. Another boat we use is the Dave boat, named after longtime EYC member and safety expert Dave Brown. For most Wednesday and Thursday night races, only the committee boat and the Dave boat will be used. Eugene Yacht Club also has a 3rd boat called Coyote and a 4th boat called the Small Whaler. These 2 boats are typically used only for sail school or larger club regattas. Now let's take a look at some of the equipment you'll typically find on EYC powerboats. Gas tanks. Each boat needs to have at least 1.5 full tanks. If you don't have enough gas, you won't be able to get across the lake and back. Also on the boat, you'll find a fixed mount VHF radio, which is connected to the battery. Each boat should also have at least 1 tow line aboard. There are also spare life jackets and throwable floating cushions. There should also be a fire extinguisher on board, and a boat hook, which can be used for setting marks or for reaching someone in the water. Each boat is equipped with a boarding ladder. The ladder can go on the sides, or on the committee boat, it can be also placed on the bow. Each boat has an anchor, fenders, and dock lines, which you will take with you as you leave the dock. The boat may have a first aid kit and a blanket. Make sure you know what equipment is on the boat and where it is located. Make a note if something is missing and replace it if possible. Your first stop is the emergency cabinet located on the restroom deck. The emergency cabinet opens with a key found in the lockbox. The lockbox code is the same as the gate code. be sure to return the key to the lockbox. Also, your club key will open this cabinet. Inside you'll find keys to the boats. The keys work on either the committee boat or the Dave boat. You'll also find handheld radios. These are placed in chargers. Club radios are set to channel 68. Also in the cabinet is EYC's public address system. If there is a medical emergency and help is still a ways off, use the PA system to see if there are any trained medical people on the grounds. First, turn the power on. Turn the volume knob to about 3/4 volume. Use the PA system to direct them to where the emergency is located. Once you have the keys and the radio, it's time to head to the boats. The first thing you need to do is make sure you have at least 1.5 full tanks of gas. If you need more gas, you'll find them in the gas locker, which is located inside the EYC Recycling Center behind the clubhouse. These red tanks will work on any of the EYC powerboats. Turn the red master battery switch to either battery 1 or on. Do not adjust the battery switch while the motor is running, as it will ruin the motor. Then lower the motor with the rocker button found on the throttle. Start the motor. On the Dave boat, push the key in, wait about 15 seconds, then start the motor. On the committee boat, put the key in, adjust the idle lever, choke by pushing the key in, and then turn it. Adjust the idle as needed. Let the motor warm up if you have time. Remember to keep dock lines with the boat, as you might not return to the same dock. Make sure your radios are tuned to channel 68 and check in with other boats. When you're driving an EYC powerboat, be sure to observe all 5 mph no-wake zones. Bring the fenders in before you speed up. If you're a rescue boat during a sailboat race, your first priority is to make sure racers are safe. Your second priority is to support the race committee by moving buoys, setting marks, and giving whatever help the race committee may need. If you see a boat in distress, get there as fast as you safely can. But do not go fast around people who are in the water or around capsized boats. Approach people in the water or capsized boats from downwind slowly. If you approach from upwind, the wind is likely to push you right over the top of them, increasing the likelihood of causing injury or tangling lines in your prop. Locate everyone in the water. Count heads and try to make verbal contact with everyone. During a race, keep in mind that accepting help will disqualify a racer. So be sure to ask if they want assistance. If help is refused, stay close and wait to see if they successfully get righted and underway. If they do need help, assist in getting people into the rescue boat and help get the boat righted or ready to tow. It's important for you to stay in the boat and out of the water whenever possible. People in the water can panic and be a danger to you. If a person in the water needs help getting into the boat, use the ladder or grab them firmly by their life jacket straps and hoist them into the boat. If you need to tow a boat back to shore, keep the tow line centered to maintain your boat's maneuverability. Always tie off the tow line. Do not try to hold a tow line yourself. Know where you are bringing a boat in case you have to direct emergency vehicles to a particular location. In a life-threatening emergency situation, call the sheriff or dial 911. Give an accurate location of where the emergency is located so the sheriff knows where to launch their boat. The sheriff can usually put a boat in the water within an hour. Lane Fire Authority keeps a boat at EYC, so they may be able to respond quickly. While an EYC powerboat may be quicker, we don't generally have the same level of emergency and medical training, so don't hesitate to call the professionals. If emergency personnel are coming to EYC, meet them at the gate, let them in, and direct them when they arrive on the grounds. There may be a second emergency vehicle dispatched, so make sure someone is there to direct the second vehicle as well. When supporting a race, Rescue boats should be on the water as boats are headed out, and stay on the water until all boats are back on shore. When docking a powerboat, approach the dock at a 45-degree angle, then turn the motor in the opposite direction while simultaneously putting the boat in reverse to slide the stern toward the dock. Once you've safely docked, secure a proper tie-up to the dock. Turn the motor off, then raise the motor. Avoid raising the motor so high, however, that it hits the stern. Next, turn the red battery switch to off. Again, only do this when the motor is turned off. Remove any empty tanks and return them to the yellow gas cabinet to be refilled. Replace the empty tanks with full ones. Make sure 1.5 tanks of gas are left on board. Put any equipment back in place and remove all your gear. Remove your garbage. Please tidy up the boat for the next user. Return keys and handheld radios to the emergency cabinet. Radios should be turned off and placed in the charging base. And finally, report any repair or equipment issues to the club manager. Thank you for taking the time to get familiar with the operation of EYC club boats. And we hope to see you next spring for our next EYC Powerboat and Safety Training class.